I made a video illustrating how to create gold text before. If you didn't see that one, I'll attach it at the end of this video. In this video, I'm going to make a gradient map to make my gold effect on the lettering. The gold color is really hard to get from the color picker as it tends not to have the shiny gold appearance that we're looking for. If you want to make gold text, perhaps this is a method that you can try out. Here I've opened a new document, and the first thing that I'll do is I want to draw an ellipse. So I'll hold down my Shift key and go over here to the Tools menu, click on Ellipse, and I'm going to draw it down here. So we're just going to put it around here in the corner and do that. Okay, so now we have our ellipse. And to build my color, I need some various shades of gold. So I'm going to bring in some gold bars. So I'll go down to File and Place, and I'm going to bring in these gold bars right here. So I will open and then put the gold bars there. And since we lost our circle, I guess I should give it a little, maybe bigger than that. We need to be able to see it. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a stroke so that we can see it. And if I have to get rid of it later, I will once we fill everything in. Now, we need to get some of these colors into this circle, and you'll see out why in a minute. So I'm going to select the ellipse, that out of the way, select the ellipse right here, and then go over here, and then I'm going to select gradient. And that will open up the gradient tool. So I'm going to first put on my gradient. And at this point, I don't really think it mattered too much whether my gradient was top to bottom or side to side. If we want to change it, we can do that later on. It really doesn't matter. And now I've got a gray and white gradient. So I need to open the gradient dialog box, and then what I want are 6 nodes here. Right now we only have 2, and I want 6 of them. So I'm going to put 6 of them in various places on this line. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This looks a little bit too close. So I haven't found this matters too much in the gradient. They don't have to really be exact. So I'm going to keep them like that. Now that I have my 6 nodes, I need to use the color picker tool in order to change this gray and white gradient into a gold gradient for our circle. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to click color right here, and here's our color picker tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and select a gold color off of there, and that will be one color, and then go here and click on the triangle, go to the color picker tool, and go down here and get this piece of gold right here, and then go to this one and go to the color picker tool and select this piece of gold. Well, let's go over here, right here, and then go over here and do it again. I'm just arbitrarily selecting colors. I really didn't go through this to try to see what kind of a gold gradient I wanted, like if I wanted to go from dark to light or anything like that. In some things that may matter to you, so you would have to plan this out. So now I'm going to go here to this color picker tool and pick, let me see, I don't want anything really, that right there, and then go here, and then we'll go to the color picker tool and select this over here, and then the last one over here, and we can go to our color picker tool and let's see, we can go right here. Okay, so now we have something that looks like Jupiter, and it's our gradient. You can keep the gradient like this, or you can turn it if you want and make it like that. Right now, when I do lettering, I mean, there's one thing about lettering where it would be an exception, and that would be if you want your lettering to be very, very light in the middle. So you need to make sure that it's going up and down and that the lightest part of your gradient is going through right here. But I'm not even worried about that. I really don't care too much about that right now. So right now we've got a solid gold gradient. Now we need to make sure that our circle is selected, and it is over here. We really don't have to worry about this anymore, but I'm going to keep it around until the end. Then I'm going to go down here and click on Effects. So the Effects box opens, and I'm going to pull it over there so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to select Bevel and Emboss. And then I'm going to, for type, I'm going to choose Inner. And then for radius, I'm going to choose 190. I'm going to undo the aspect ratio. I don't want that. And so on the depth, I want 66.4. And for soften, I don't want to soften it at all. And then down here on the profile, I'm going to select the fourth one right here. And then for azimuth, which is down here, I want to make sure that it's 145. And for elevation is 45. And these two right here is what's making this direction little dot move around to give the direction of the profile. Okay, our highlight and shadow are going to be the same, so we're done with that. Now we're going to click on Inner Shadow. Now I want you to notice what's happening to our planet Jupiter down here. It is changing as we change our effects. And what we're aiming for is for an effect that we can use over and over again, and you'll see what I mean toward the end. So now I'm going to go for Inner Shadow. My blend mode is going to be Subtract. So we need to find that down here. Blend mode is Subtract. The opacity is going to be 42. The radius is going to be 8. The offset is going to be 0. And the intensity is going to be 100%. Okay, now we need the color. We need a gold shadow color. So I have the hex code for the shadow color that I wanted. And the way I got that hex code is I experimented around. I mean, this stuff just doesn't, come to me. I would love to tell you that I'm that great at this, but I'm really not. I had to go around and figure out what gold color I wanted. Then once I got the gold color for the shadow I wanted, I copied down the hex code, and now I can just type the hex code down here, and that hex code is going to be D9AA59, and then press enter, and that's going to give you the gold color for the shadow. Now we have our hex code, and our angle is going to be 180. So I'm grabbing this and I'm turning it around and until you get 180. So our angle is going to be 180. Okay, so that's all the effects we need. Now what in the reality what we really have is we have a circle that has all the effects and the gradient that is going to go on to the lettering. And there is a reason you would want to do that, and toward the end I'm going to show you why. Okay, now we want to right click on the ellipse and then find something that is called Create Style. So it's going to be Create Style down here. So it's Create Style. So we've got Create Style, and over here there's a Styles tab. So we're going to click on the Styles tab, and down here we have this style is this. This is the one that's been saved. So I'm going to give that a name by right-clicking on it and saying rename style, and I'm going to call it gold text. And I'm going to spell it correctly. Okay, gold text, and then say OK. So now we have this style saved in our styles palette right here. If you look up here and you don't have a styles tab in your palette, what you're going to do is you're going to go up here to Window and then go to Vector and Styles. Now right here when I go down to Styles, notice that the check mark is next to it saying that the palette or the tab is enabled in our palette. So that's why it was there. I guess when I loaded the program, it was one of those things that wasn't always enabled, but if yours isn't, you can make it appear by doing what I'm showing you to do right here. Okay, now the next thing we need is our lettering. And so the lettering I'm going to use is something that I made for a t-shirt. And we're going to call this Golden Girl. Okay, so we can pull it over here, and it's going to be about that big, but this is not the font we're going to use. Every time I do this, I actually never know what font I'm going to use. It changes all the time. And so I'm going to just select one. For something like this, it's usually better to have something that is thicker so that you can see the gradient on it, but I don't always do that. I did this one time, black ladder, but I'm going to look for something else. Here's Broadway, brush script. Maybe I'll use brush script. There's also one down here that I like. Maybe I'll do that one this time. Laura, where are you? Let me see. Called Lobster. So I'll click on Lobster and we'll do that one. Make it a little bit bigger and center it. And so now that we have our lettering, what we need to do is to get this style to go on this lettering, we need to go over here to the style that we want and click on it and pull it over to where it covers the lettering. And now you have this style that's being transferred to this lettering, and now you've got your golden text. So now I need to talk about, well, bring up a few points. The style that I made took some pre-planning, I'm not going to lie, as far as the effects I added. So I had to do a test. What I did was I typed out some text, and then I selected the text and did what I normally would when you would go into text effects. Go into text effects and tried out different text effects until I got the text effects that I liked. And then all I had to do is to make note of what text effects I needed to make this permanent little style bubble. So that's the first thing I did. What I didn't do is I didn't make note of when I went over here to sample the colors. I never really made a note each time, and I've practiced on this like 5 or 6 times, of what color in what order I put it in on this ball. So every time I've done this, it looks a little bit different. So of course, if you don't like it, then you'll need to change the gradient on the ball, is what you're going to have to do. And fix that by clicking on gradient again and opening it back up and picking out some colors that you might like and then changing it. So for example, if you wanted something that would be, right now this is selected because it's bigger, this node. If you wanted something that was a little bit lighter, you would click on that, and then you would bring down your sampling tool and then click on something else, and then that's going to change this. Now it's not going to change this. What you would have to do is you would have to change that to that again. So when I did that, notice that my effects ball, which is what I'm calling it, changed, but this didn't do that. So you'll need to go through and do some pre-planning if you want some specific type of text. And I'll get out of here. You're going to want to make sure that you've got the right order of the colors of gold that you want before you put it on here. Because right now this is that. This is not that. So let's right click on this, go back here, and click on our ball, and right click, and go to Create Style. So I'll go Create Style again, and then go back over here to my styles, and I should have another one. And there it is, it's style number 9, and we can rename it if we want to, but just to show you that now it's going to look different, I'm going to take my style and I'm going to drag it over the text. Well, I have to select the text first. I guess that might be a good idea. Drag it over the text, and it should change it, but I don't, well, yeah, I did. I guess it wasn't so much different that I really noticed it. The only place I really noticed it was up here. So if I were really picky about this, I would not only do the effects in advance, I would also do the gradient in advance, so I could maybe have some more light tones like it turned out to be on here. Now, since you have these, if this is something, this is really handy, because if you are doing a lot of text or a lot of objects and this is what you want to use, these over here, then you'll always have that. You won't have to go through all the effects all over again and experiment around, and the colors and experiment around and all that sort of thing to get the type of effect that you want on this particular text. Now, you could, dress it up with stars and all that stuff. Okay, so give this a shot and see how it works for you. And as I said, it's really handy if you get a style that you want to use over and over again, because it's always saved down here in these in the styles panel. So give this video a like, and also subscribe and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on my future videos. I'm trying to drop a video once a week because I'm afraid that if I don't, I'll forget everything.